Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. This is going to be probably a little bit of a shorter one, but it's covering a topic that I have had some questions about and actually quite a lot of interest over on Reddit about this subject. I do post on Reddit. My username over there is not my name here. My username over there is, what is it? JDM Turbo Guy, I think it is, something like that. So if you're a Redditor, you might find me on there if you're interested in that. But anyway, had some interest on this subject over there, and people seem to kind of be interested in the subject for their own projects, so I want to talk about it. And it's just personally something I'm really interested in on all my project cars, and that is sound deadening and what you can do to make your car more quiet, more comfortable, and less hot, so less exhaust heat coming through the floorboards and so forth. I'm not the guy that wants to take my cars and make them all super lightweight to get performance. Although I do think that would be fun to do one project that way, and to be honest with you, I've always wanted to do one project that way. But I've been in enough of cars like that to know that the downside to doing that is pretty big, and the upside is good too if performance is the number one thing you're after. Being lightweight is absolutely awesome for performance. Probably the best thing you can do for the overall performance of the car, from handling to braking to acceleration, is to be lightweight. But at least for me, all my projects are performance street cars, not performance track cars. So they got to do a lot of things pretty well. And one of the things they really have to do pretty well is be comfortable to drive and just nice to live in. So I always don't want to take away too many things from the car. I'll take away a few things, but I try to draw the line somewhere. And on some cars, like the 240 back there, I actually, instead of taking away sound deadening, I added a bunch in. So that's not a big thing. A lot of you guys have done similar things, but it's a popular subject as some of us car guys get older. We want to do less and less of the sacrificial mods, and we want to do more and more of the mods that actually add to comfort and try to maybe make the car fast in other ways, like horsepower. So that's kind of my method nowadays, is make more power so that your weight really doesn't matter anymore. And that didn't really used to be possible back in the day when I first started doing this stuff, because turbochargers were absolutely around, but making big power with turbochargers was tough on four-cylinder stuff back in the early 2000s. It was expensive. There was not a lot of knowledge. There was no E85, and that's a huge component of how to make power with a turbo car nowadays. We didn't have that back then, so back then you could make more power by turning the boost up and so forth, but you were probably going to want to lose weight on the car anyway to make it go faster at some point. At least the guys that were building cars on a really low budget like me back then were probably going to want to take out some stuff and get rid of some stuff. Sometimes guys would lose AC systems. They would lose power steering systems, believe it or not. I mean, I don't know why I say believe it or not. You guys know about that, but to me, it's like, you're going to lose power steering to shed 15 pounds? Like, come on, dude. To me, totally not worth it. But hey, if it's worth it to you, it's worth it to you, and that's fine. So guys would take out the back seats, they would take out the passenger seat sometimes, all this stuff would strip out of the car to make it go faster. But anyway, I never liked that. I always liked the DSM community back in the day had a saying, which was "go fast with class." And back in those days, it was DSM versus Honda. Those were the two big factions in the import scene. And the Honda guys were big on stripping their cars out and making them lighter. And the DSM guys were big on keeping full interiors and keeping all your accessories and keeping your comforts and making the car really nice to live in, and trying to figure out how to go fast in other ways. And I always liked that. It stuck with me. The "go fast with class" kind of motto always stuck with me. So when I build cars nowadays, they tend to be more towards the "go fast with class" kind of side of things, I guess. So anyway, I have some pictures that I've uncovered from an old hard drive or an old camera or something of me doing the sound editing on that car. And so I want to insert them in the video here and go over my process for what I did back in the day, because this was quite a long time ago when I built that. So I've just got the pictures to show you. And it's all hidden under carpet and floor mats now, so I can't exactly peel it all back and show you very easily. So I'm going to be putting the pictures in the video now and talking over it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so everything starts with this product right here called Quiet Coat. This stuff is basically, from what I can tell, it's like latex paint mixed with crushed up sheetrock. Not the paper on the sheetrock, but the insides of a piece of sheetrock. Gypsum, I think it's called. So imagine that stuff crushed up and mixed into a gallon of latex paint, and that's pretty much what you got. So you just brush this on and do as many coats as you want. And on my project, I did 4 coats of this. So it's real thick. You brush it on and let it dry, and this dampens any vibrations in the metal. So you can think of this as a replacement for Dynamat. This is exactly what Dynamat and all the other brands of Dynamat, people who have knocked off Dynamat and call it different names, this takes the place of that. So it sticks right to the metal and it dampens any vibrations in the metal. And so yeah, you don't need to cover every square inch of your area with this, but you may as well while you're in there. And that's your kind of your base layer. Okay, so here you can see what it looks like and kind of where I applied it. I applied it all the way from the base of the windshield, covering the entire firewall and all the way down to the floor. I would have covered the floor also, but it already had a real thick OEM layer that you're all familiar with that a lot of guys chip out of there. It had already a nice layer of that from the factory, so there's really no need to put any more down there, although you could cover every square inch if you want. But I did 4 layers of this, and you can see exactly where I applied it there, kind of from top to bottom. Okay, so here we go on the next step of the process, and this red material that you're seeing here, that red material is carpet underlayment, so it's a foam product, and it's about maybe half an inch thick, and you can buy that stuff at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I did 2 layers of that, so I've got about an inch of soft sound deadening there at that point after you've done 2 layers. So your first layer of quiet coat dampens vibration, and then the whole idea behind sound deadening is you want to do this in layers. So you want to do a dampening layer, and then you want to do an absorbing layer, and then you want to do another dampening layer, and then if you want to keep going, then you would then do another absorbing layer. So it basically goes like a dense product, and then a soft product, and then a dense product, and then a soft product, and do as many rounds of that as you want. But really, you just need 1 or 2 rounds of each, and then you've achieved like 99% of all the results you're going to get anyway. So you can see here in this project, you're going to see by the end that I did 1 dense product, 1 soft product, and then 1 dense product. And then the factory carpet goes on, which is a final soft product. So that's how many layers I ended up with on this particular job. Okay, so on the foam layers, I forgot to mention that I used spray adhesive to hold them all in place. So I used 3M spray adhesive, super good product to hold everything in place. That's what I used there. Okay, so layer 3 now is this black product, and this is a vinyl product that I bought on a roll, and it's called MLV, which is an acronym that stands for mass loaded vinyl, which is just a fancy way to say it's really heavy vinyl. And it was about an 1/8 of an inch thick, I guess you might say. And it's real flexible and floppy, and you can cut it real easy with a razor blade. And you just cut it to shape and stick it on wherever you need it, and just give yourself 1 layer over everything. I suppose you could do 2 layers here if you really wanted to, but I don't really think there would be much of an advantage to doing 2 layers in this case. And the stuff is very heavy, so and then all the little pieces are held together with some black Gorilla Tape just to kind of hold them in place. You almost don't need it for most of the spots because it's not really going to move around much. But on the vertical spots, you're going to need to use spray adhesive and tape to kind of hold stuff in place. And then once you put your interior in, it all kind of gets sandwiched and locked in place. And it's been years and years now, and nothing has ever moved or fallen off or fallen down. So I think that was a pretty good process to hold it in place there. Okay, so here's the final look at the MLV once I got the layer all the way completed, all the way across top to bottom. So this is the final step before I put my carpet in. So we have a hard layer with the quiet coat product, and then we have a soft layer with the foam, and then another hard layer with the MLV. And then the final layer is your carpet and your floor mats, which I don't have a picture of at the moment, but you can imagine what that looks like. But yeah, that's my process. Worked really well, and the car is super, super quiet. There's a whole lot of road noise that just cannot make it through. The car feels really good when I go down the road, and a whole lot of heat doesn't make it through. Like I literally never feel any heat from my feet ever from exhaust, and this car has an LS and dual exhaust that does run quite close to the floorboards, but it's never an issue. I literally never can feel any heat. So, and I know that's a big issue on a lot of you guys' cars is heat coming through the floor. So this process might be really advantageous for you for the heat as well as the sound and comfort level that way. Okay, so the other area that you're definitely going to want to hit is going to be your front doors. So what you can see here is that I've put quiet coat on the inner skin there. I don't remember how many coats, but probably at least 2 or 3 there. And then you can't really see it, but I also did quiet coat over the entire inside skin of the exterior skin. So the inside is totally coated, and that's probably the more important part to coat rather than this part that you can see here. So put a couple layers on everything you can get to, and then I did expanding foam also if you zoom in. Yeah, so if you zoom in, you can see that I did expanding foam all around the inner beam inside the door. That way there can be no rattling of any type between the skin and the beam. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you only want to do 2 areas on your car, do the full firewall and the doors, and you're gonna achieve at least 80-90% of what's possible. You can also do the whole rest of the car if you want, of course, but I think it's kind of overkill because all your sound predominantly is coming through your front areas and the side of your doors. That's where OEM factory cars focus all their sound deadening efforts for the most part, anyway. So it's kind of where your bang for the buck is, I think. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this video. Just thought that would be a kind of a quick and easy, fun little video to crank out for everybody, covering something that I think there's a pretty big segment of the car community that wants to do that kind of project. Of course, I know there's a lot of you guys that couldn't care less about that kind of thing, and that's totally cool too, but you probably didn't make it that far in this video if you didn't care about that. So if you have any questions, let me know down below. I like to communicate with you guys down in the comment section when I can. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, give me a sub if you want to see more on that car as it develops, or any of my other projects. I've got the MR2 and the 300ZX that are always being worked on and changed and upgraded and so forth. So anyway, guys, I appreciate it, and I will catch you on the next one.